Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, the one and only Ashley Live. This is episode 131, and I am bringing back the incredible singer-songwriter based in New York City, Nia Marie. So this is going to be her second time coming back on my show. She was actually on episode 34, which was December 23rd, 2020. So almost a year has gone by, and Nia is going to be joining me again. Just a quick tidbit about Nia. Wanted to let you guys know she is a Berklee alum, and in 2020 her single Please Don't went viral, was featured by BuzzFeed, and she is destined to change the world through the power of her lyrics. Her latest single, Not Sorry, was released last month. Nia is in the house and she will be joining me shortly. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Nia!
Hi!
Hi guys, how are you this evening?
Good. Yes. So this is Juan Arango. He's my guitarist with me. I didn't have him last time, but we're ready to do some songs for you.
Let's get it. So Nia and Juan will be performing 2 songs. So Nia, if you just want to introduce the songs you're doing and take it away, girl.
Yeah. So, well, first I just want to thank you so much again for having me. Second time. I can't believe it's already been a year basically since the last time I was on here. So that's amazing. But yeah, I have 2 songs that I'm going to be singing, 2 originals. The first one is called Streetlights, and this one was put out at the top of the year. And a little bit about the song, I will say both the songs actually, I will say they were real life experiences, derived from real life experiences. And Streetlights is very much just a kind of, that kind of sad pop song. And it's really just about trying to get away from something that you know is no longer working for you. So, and walking away. So this is Streetlights. Sometimes it's hard walking down the street. Some happy little couples, cheek to cheek. 'Cause I imagine your hand, my look up as far as wide there again. But babe, you played me again. And now I'm 2 streets and 1 mile further from you. And now I'm 2 streets from getting you out of my view. And now I'm 2 streets. Letting you go, letting you go. I'm just 2 streets, baby, I'm just 2 streets. I really want to say that I called it blues. We held on to nothing just for something. I imagine your hand in mine. Let's have one more time. Kiss me down. But babe, you play me again. Now I'm 2 streets, 1 mile further from. Now I'm 2 streets from getting you out of road. Now I'm 2 streets. Letting you go, letting you go. I'm just 2 streets, baby, just 2 street lights. Oh, don't try to say what you couldn't hide, what you shouldn't hide. No, don't try to say what you couldn't hide, what you shouldn't hide. No, I won't try to say what you Now I'm too straight from letting you go, from letting you go. I'm just too straight, babe. I'm just too straight.
Yes, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. That was street. Thank you. Yeah, so this next one that we have, I recently put out, when was the date? November. In November. It's called Not Sorry, and this, I will say, is probably the most unapologetic song I've ever written and put out. So yeah, this was just a really fun one to do, and again, real life experiences, but it's really just about finally getting what you deserve and being able to survive and become better because of something that happened to you. So it's kind of a kick in the face all at the same time. So yeah, this is Not Sorry. Didn't think that I would name my cards just right. You didn't think I'd see a poker face. Thought you tricked me in a solid game. Right. So tell me, was it worth it, babe? Did you get all that you wanted, baby? No, I don't regret nothing, baby. I'm coming to you as you say. And if I would've known that it would go down right, I still wouldn't be that sorry, baby. I'm not sorry. Didn't think I'd catch you in a lie. Thought I'd believe every alibi you said. You didn't think you'd say long demise, but you made it to the other side. That you wanted, babe. No, I don't regret nothing, baby. I'm coming to you at you, baby. I would've known that it would go down tonight. I still wouldn't be that sorry, baby. I'm sorry. You had thought you'd gotten down, I still stand. But you had me convinced that I was going crazy. I don't regret nothing, baby. You had karma coming to you as you baby. If I would've known that it would go down tonight, I still wouldn't be that sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yes! Thank you. That was beautiful, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry, the latest single from the incredible Nia Marie. Thank you guys so much. That was awesome.
Yes, of course. Thank you again. That was the first time I was playing it live, so.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. I was like, because I know it just came out, so I was like, oh, exclusive. Thank
Yes, exclusive.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, Juan is going to go off to the side so we can do the interview portion. But again, guys, this is Juan Arango. You can follow him on all social media platforms. I am going to reposition myself a bit. So
yeah, come up a little bit.
There we go. There we go. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for playing both of those songs. We're going to get to the interview portion of the show. So let's just start all the way from childhood. So I know your childhood, you were a dancer, you played violin, piano. Talk to me about what music meant to you during this time in your life.
Gosh, music was always around, and my mom, started me off very young. I started violin when I was in kindergarten. And it was definitely one of those things where it was like, what instrument are you picking in elementary school? And I was like, I'm going to go with this one.
Yeah.
So music has always been, I've always been surrounded by it. It's always been in me and just something that I've really loved. And yeah, getting older and like growing up and through like middle school and high school years was when I really started getting into songwriting, and I, really just connected with that. And that was my way of expressing myself and getting my emotions out. And I realized that at a pretty young age that I really wanted to do that. And yeah, it's something that I've always been doing, and I don't plan on ever stopping. So
yeah. And I love that you were constantly surrounded in music, because when you take dance, they're always playing different kinds of.
Exactly. So I always had like the craziest, like the weirdest mixture of influences, I'd say, because I was always listening to classical music, and then like obviously like like the pop songs of like the early 2000s right. were like all my thing. A lot of Sarah Bareilles, gosh, who else? Like Michelle Branch, like all of these random pop stars. But yeah, so it was an interesting mixture of like R&B, pop, and classical for me. So yeah, I carried that for sure. Very
cool. And what kind of dance did you take?
Ballet, actually. So I started out when I was little with, all of the different types. I was in tap, jazz, ballet, contemporary, all of that stuff. And then I kind of honed in on ballet when I was in middle school. And then I stuck with that all throughout high school, actually. And I didn't stop until college when I went to Berklee. And I still took, some Boston ballet classes every once in a while, but I probably, that's definitely something I wish I was still doing.
Yeah.
I thought it would be in way better shape than it is now. But but yeah, so ballet was my thing, and I really loved it. I really did.
Yeah, and I think when you're enrolled in something like dance, or you're playing the violin, or you're playing piano, it kind of just gives you this sense of you need to prepare. You need to it instills that in you in a very young age.
Very young, yeah, definitely. I was constantly practicing something, whether it was violin, piano, a dance recital. I was constantly performing in some way and trying and learning and and just performing as much as I could, because I was everywhere. I was just bouncing up and down all over the place, honestly. My mom made sure I was busy when I was little. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but good though, because
very good.
Different people in dance, and then you have your recitals.
Yeah.
And it's cool because, everybody has a different childhood growing up, right? Like some people are in soccer, and some people, maybe are in basketball. But when you're in the arts, it's a whole new kind of situation that you're in. And it's very creative and very cool.
Yes, definitely. And it's actually funny too, because this just reminds me, my mom, I had no idea, my mom, when she was younger, she took piano lessons and was in choir, but I didn't actually realize that she also was going to pursue music.
Really?
Yeah. And this is just a thing that I at that moment, I was my mom and I are very close, but at that moment I was oh my God, we're so and this is why you're so supportive. She's also doing the same kind of stuff as me. So, she definitely made sure. We just had very similar dreams. So she made sure I carried that. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. That is so amazing to have the support of your mom and her just saying oh, we're going to violin. Oh, we're doing this. I believe you're amazing. You got this. I'm your biggest cheerleader in life.
Literally, yeah. And she still is to this day. My dad is too. But she's the one that would drive me around everywhere and, do all the things with me. So Yeah, she's definitely one of my biggest cheerleaders for sure.
Yes. Oh, hi, Mom, and thank you, Mom, for supporting Nia like you do.
Yes, seriously, I love her.
So, looking back on your childhood, do you have like a really cool moment that you had during your childhood that you want to share with us?
Um, a cool like musical moment.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Oh God, I'm trying to think. I would say, um, as a child anyway. Well, it was a few. So my piano teacher, she also went to Berklee. So
Hmm.
she was really into like pushing me to do the songwriting thing. So
Hmm.
that was really cool. But she had me do a recital of just my own stuff that I
Hmm.
had written. And that was the first time that I had ever, even tackled that. She also like had me like going to the studio and like learning how to record stuff. And that was such a great experience. And like she was such a great teacher. And she really like pushed me into this like sector of the industry. But yeah, I'd say just like really just honing in on my writing
Hmm.
and being given that chance to like explore that side of me that I wanted to see what it was about. That was really awesome.
Hmm.
And then also like one that is just popping into my head, and I'll probably think of another random one. But my violin teacher was also amazing.
Yeah.
His name is Mr. Canny, and I would say the coolest moment was playing a concerto with him. Um, and it was a recital, and like we both played together, and he's just a phenomenal violin player, and that was the first time like that I felt like I could like match like be somewhere in the realm of what he was. So yeah, I would say those are the two that really stick out for me. It's just those moments with my teachers. Really, yeah.
Hmm. I love how you brought teachers into it because you could have said anything. You could have said, "Oh, the time I was writing my first song" or something. But both of your moments were teacher inspired. So thank you to all these incredible teachers that
Seriously, yes. Yeah.
within our children every day. Sometimes I feel like our teachers are the people that we look up to the most because
Definitely.
they're outside of our house and they're
Yeah.
teaching us things and they're loving us and they're supporting us.
Yeah, and we're with them all the time, like
Exactly.
always.
Yes. Yes.
So they become very important, and they can be very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Which luckily I can say that mine were definitely very impactful. So,
Mm-hmm.
and also my mom too. Just she's a teacher as well. Well, was
Yeah.
for 40 years and then retired. So she also instilled that connection for wanting me to have with teachers. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's cool that you said your mom was a teacher because I think teachers have that empathy and caring and supportiveness because,
Yeah.
right, taking care of their students and they're, molding them and crafting them into these incredible adults.
Exactly. So it's just yeah,
So,
they're great.
yeah. So was there like a pivotal moment in your childhood where you were like, I need to do music?
Um, I would. So actually, in so when I went to college, I tried out for Berklee, and I actually was slightly against going to an all music school.
Really?
Yeah, because I was crazy. But I honestly, like, I wasn't 1000% sure what I wanted to do at the time. Quite
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. So
Yeah.
I was just applying to schools just to see where I got in. And music was always in the back of my mind, but like, I didn't think that it was ever a good financial choice, and like probable at all. So I didn't. The thought of applying to an all music school and going to an all music school just didn't seem realistic to me, which is very much the opposite of what my parents did. So my parents were the ones. Yeah, they were the ones that were like, I mean, you're going to college, like you might as well go for something you really want to go for. Like, don't
Yeah.
waste your time.
Right.
So that it's that because of them that I actually ended up going to Berklee and obviously luckily getting in. But yeah, it was definitely a choice that was in the back of my mind, but not one that I thought that I could make.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was. But that's where my music story kind of went. I did it anyway.
I love that you ended up going with Berklee? Because there's so many colleges all across this country that you could have
So
gotten
many.
into.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you like listen to your heart and you listen to the support of your loved ones, and you're like, it's music. That's what it is.
Definitely have to do this, yeah. And I'm so lucky that I did, because like obviously at the time I didn't really know what other avenues there were to go in the music industry in general. So and like right now the job that I have, like I'm in production at Universal, so it's like again not something that I would have thought that I would ever be doing, but it's such a cool job, and I'm totally all for it. So it's like there are just so many opportunities that I wasn't aware of that once I went to Berklee, it was just like, oh, great. I have many ways of doing this. So, yeah. But I would definitely say, like, that's after, being pushed to do it, I would say, yeah, that was my moment of being like, yeah, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah. And once you got in and you were like, yep, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, I committed for sure. There was no going back at that point.
Yeah, so I guess tell me what your time was like at Berklee.
Oh, it was so great. I loved it, honestly. It was you're just around so many amazing people and so many people from across the world, which is fantastic. And I love that. And it was definitely like when I went to Berklee, there wasn't enough housing at the time for everybody. So like I started out in an apartment, like with one other roommate. So I was very much like thrown into city life, and I had never lived by myself, but like honestly, it was the best thing. And I just met so many great people and made so many great friends and amazing teachers, and learned so much about myself, which was great. And as myself as an artist, which I will say that I'm still me as an artist. I'm still a work in progress. Like I don't necessarily. I'd say I'm getting closer to the sound and the identity of an artist I want to be, and that's something that's very. It's hard to get to.
Yeah.
Hard to get to. It's a process. It's a serious process. But yeah, I'm slowly getting there, and obviously going to Berklee really helped that and helped shape me, and just, I was constantly writing all the time. So that was amazing. And also something I should really, I wish I had the time to do. Sometimes it's not always there. The time is always there, but yeah. So it was great. Being at Berklee was great. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's get into the songwriting. So I know you were saying like you wish you had more time to songwrite. So when did your songwriting journey actually start?
I would say, well, okay, so like seriously, obviously Berklee, but before that with my teacher, like with my piano teacher and stuff, I had started writing like little songs when I was probably like 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, I still actually remember it. I started writing, I think it was a Christmas song when I was like 8 years old. Yeah. I don't remember how it went, but for some reason I remember that it was a Christmas song. And that was like the first moment where I was like, oh, this is fun. This is awesome. So yeah, that was probably the moment that I realized like, oh, this is something that is cool, that I have interest in. And then I kept doing it. And then it just became like therapy for me. It's just being able to write, all my feelings out and sit at the piano at home and just like zone out completely, which I really loved. And that I spent so much time there, so much time in that spot. So yeah, that was fun.
And I think as a young person, you need a creative outlet. So
yeah,
for you to turn into songwriting and then the whole musical thing and just be like, this is how I'm going to express myself through my song and through my lyrics. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, and I also just listening to like people like Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, like growing up, and like Marvin Gaye, like all those guys, such great lyrics.
Yeah.
And that's like something I remember just like identifying with the lyrics of songs so early on.
Yeah.
And I was always just tuning into what they were really saying, like how I was interpreting that. Always loved that. I always loved that. I also really loved poetry when I was little too. Like my mom, I still remember having this book, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it was just this book filled with little poems, and I would read that nonstop all the time, and it was my favorite thing. So yeah, that stuck with me clearly. But yeah.
I think it's cool when you talk about songwriting and you think of the greats, right? Like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and you think of like, for instance, a love song, right? How many love songs are there that have been out? Tons and tons and tons. But there's so many different kinds of love songs, and there's so many ways to craft the way that you're feeling. And then you hear like the songwriting, you're like, whoa, like there are many songwriting like things that you do with it, ways that you can lyrics. But the art of songwriting and putting those words in specific spots and then having it kind of like all come together is an art in itself.
It is. It totally is. It's an art and it's a process.
Yes.
But the best is, I will say that still like the best thing about songwriting that I love is just like make it like having a line in your song that you totally love. And that could mean so many different things, or that could be interpreted in so many different ways. I love that about songwriting so much. Like I love being able to just like find this one line and be like, oh, that's it. Like that's gonna get all the feels, or you know. So it's cool. I just love it so much.
Yes, and I know that you love songwriting. So tell me about your songwriting journey and how it's evolved over the course of your life.
I would say, starting from when I was younger, I was kind of just dipping my toes in and just like doing whatever. And then getting to Berklee, I will say it definitely got harder, but in the sense that it was more like overthinking.
Yeah.
So I went through like I've gone through so many phases of trying to find my voice, both just vocally and through my words. So that's been, you know, obviously a challenge, and it's fun in the process. But yeah, just so Berklee was like the one pivotal moment that I was trying to figure out who I wanted to be as an artist. And then I went through that. Going back now, I listen to those songs and I'm like, oh my God, what was I writing? But now I've just been in this headspace, and I've honestly, for the first time, I've been writing songs that I really identify with, and that I personally want to sing. Like I feel like as a songwriting, we're always writing songs, but they're not necessarily for us to sing.
Yeah.
You know, we want to give them away and be like, oh, it'd be cool if this person sang this, but they're not always for us. So I'm finally writing stuff that very silly, but I just think sounds great and sounds cool, and I like the word, like I love the words that I'm using in there, and I like how it feels, most importantly, and that's I'm not writing to try and do something cool. I'm just writing, and I'm like connecting. I'd say right now I've been connecting with like that folkier pop side of me, which honestly is what I really grew up on and really loved. And I like simple, and I've always really liked simple. So that's kind of where I'm going right now. And that's what probably the next songs that will be out will be like, but it'll probably be definitely different than what I've had out thus far.
And I think as an artist, you always want to be growing and evolving, because you think of like a Michael Jackson and those albums, right? And you're like, okay, well, he can't make the same Dangerous album or the same Thriller. Like he's always evolving as an artist. And I think it's so important to kind of like lean into that, because if Taylor Swift wrote the same album over and over again, like
Adele album, like that was just, she completely went like total R&B.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. She's completely recreated herself as an artist. She still has homages in that album to like her older stuff, but like her new stuff is just fantastic. So yeah, always evolving for sure.
Yeah, and always just saying like, oh, like kind of going into the whole folky pop thing, or this is a bit more pop or whatever. And I think it's cool when you listen to an album and a body of work and all the songs are kind of different. Like you have a couple ballads in there, a little up tempo, maybe you have something and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's like the beauty of an album, right?
It really is. It's so cool. And that's why, well, like Adele did, she made sure everybody had to listen to it in the correct order. There's no shuffling it. Because this is how it's meant to be heard. So it's cool,
Yeah, it was crazy when I heard that whole Adele thing about how she removed shuffle from Spotify.
Yeah.
You know, when you listen to an album and you listen to it over and over and over again, you're like, oh, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4. But I mean, it is the way the story is told, because she wants to back one and then like a certain way.
Yeah, the concept album, like it's how an artist wants to present it. So I feel like honoring that is probably best. But, and I know it's probably annoying too sometimes, but I'm totally all about that. I'm like, all right, this is how you intended it. Let's do it.
Let's keep on going like how the artist wants.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other songwriters?
I would say, A, don't hold back.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely go for it. Don't hold yourself back.
Mm-hmm.
I am definitely one of those people. And put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. I'm lucky to have really great friends around me who constantly push me out of my comfort zone, because if I stayed in there all the time, I would not be doing anything. I wouldn't even be doing this. So I've been getting more used to pushing myself and getting out there more. And I also just not wasting any more time, because I feel like me personally, I have hidden behind anxieties and fears for so long that I'm so over it at this point, so I am, every day is just getting over that and befriending that and just doing it.
Mm-hmm. Leaning into that and being like, oh, well, today kind of feels weird for me, but I still have XYZ that I want to do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So as far as the anxiety, because I think anxiety is something that everybody struggles with. Some people don't talk about it. Some people do talk about it. But I think it's very important during this time of like quarantine and COVID and
oh God, yeah.
what is even going on in the world. So it's been like a year since you and I last talked. So how have you been coping this past year with like the ups and downs of COVID and leave our house and are we vaccinated? Like, how are you dealing with all of that?
Honestly, so for me personally, I am just happy that we have a vaccine now.
Yes.
That's where I'm at. Got my booster. I'm all good. So yeah. So that I think knowing that there has been some progression, and there is a tiny bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, that is what has helped me. Obviously, throughout COVID, there has also been other things that have occurred in the world in general, which have been definitely hard to deal with and hard to cope with for everyone, I'd say. But I say for me, I've just been trying to, I guess, manage how much I am intaking, as to not over, completely do too much and then just freak myself out, which I can totally do and do pretty often. But I have tried to be better and cognizant of what I'm watching and listening to and how much of it all the time. I'm still being informed, staying informed for sure, but just not letting it be all consuming, because like it's too much. Like I can't do that anymore. So I'm happy with myself that I've been able to do that and take that time. And even just on Instagram, like I'm so bad with posting things and like being on Instagram all the time. Like I am one of those artists that's just like, hey guys, I'm releasing something. Okay, bye. Like that's me. I realize like I'm so not really a social media person and I need to be better at it. And I'm trying, but like it's a thing. So it's little things like that, that give and take, and just making sure that I don't overdo it. So I stress myself out.
No, I totally get it. Like with social media and the news and stuff, you're like, okay, I don't mind like knowing what's going on, but like I just want to hear like bits and pieces. Like
exactly.
You don't overwhelm yourself because like, with all the craziness that's going on, you're just like, okay, inform me what's going on, but like then I'm gonna totally do something else and get myself out of that.
Exactly. Then I'm gonna like try and reboot myself after I've just listened to or watched something so depressing and sad. Gonna just step away and reevaluate some things. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, and we have to be, aware of what we're doing and how that's affecting our mental states, because it's hard right now. It's hard right now. Not that it wasn't always hard for like everybody's always going through their own thing. And obviously this is another layer. So it's just, taking care of you right now and that's something I'm getting better at slowly.
Like you need to know yourself well enough to be self-aware and be like, this is what works for me. Because different things for different people. And like you said with social media is one of those things where like people like want to tell you everything. They're like, this is what I had for breakfast and this is what I'm doing at this current moment. We're in the society where it's like you need to tell everybody what you're doing every moment.
Announcing everything all the time.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm
so bad at it. I also just feel like no one actually cares. I'm like, I don't really like, I'm just eating breakfast here, guys. Like, here's a cup. Here's a picture of a cup. Like, I've always had that mindset of like, who really cares? Like, why? But like, I know it's like it's hard. In today's society, it's hard. You have to be present still, to still get, visibility and have people see you and hear you and all of that. So it's a struggle.
Yeah, it definitely is a struggle because like as an artist, you want to tell people what you're doing. You're like, oh, I'm writing this song. Like, but then sometimes people scroll and like some people are like, oh, I've been on Instagram scrolling for 2 hours. And I'm like, literally, you should literally just post something and then hop off. And then and then leave it for days, right?
Yeah. Like it just okay, bye. That's all. It's a struggle. So
I want to talk to you about your time after Berklee. So from Berklee, did you move to New York City right after that?
No, so I actually stayed in Boston for 3 years. I worked at a post-production studio.
Nice.
Worked my way up there, and then after those 3 years, I ended up landing a job at Universal, and then moved super fast. I was like, okay, bye, I'm out. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Boston is a great city, and I love it so much. But the music scene and like all the people that I had known at the time, they had all left, and everybody had moved to different states. So there wasn't much going on anymore. So finally, I was like, all right, I guess I should probably make the move to New York. And then when I got the job, I was like, okay, I'm definitely making the move to New York. And I never thought that I would be a New York girl, honestly. I grew up in Philly. So I grew up coming here and visiting all the time with my family and just, going on little tiny vacations. So it was never the place that I was like, yeah, I want to live here. Like it just always seemed way too insane for me. Way too crowded. It was huge. It's New York. It's the Big Apple. It's insane. It's a crazy place. But getting the job, it pushed me. I didn't really have a choice. And then in not having that choice, it ended up becoming a place that I absolutely love. So it's great. It's a crazy city, but it's a great city. So
yeah, and I think it's really cool because, like you said, once people graduate from Berklee, they're like LA, Nashville, Austin, like literally. They go all over the place, right? Because I feel like a lot of the musicians that I've talked to, they move because it's like oh, I'm in LA for a couple years, I'll go to Austin, do Nashville, like they just kind of like are on the move. So did you always want to go to New York, or were you just applying to a bunch of jobs and was like, I'm just gonna go wherever the job?
Yeah, it was more just applying to jobs and just like wanting to get out of Boston at the time.
Right.
And I had actually visited Nashville because I went on the Berklee Nashville trip. I don't know, but I did that my senior year, and I really loved Nashville. Honestly, I really did not think I would. I'm just not a country girl. It's just not me at all. But obviously, the songwriting scene is amazing, and it's definitely the place to be for that. But I just never made the move. I just didn't do it. I was too afraid to do it. So, I ended up just staying, and then I was like, it's time to get out of Boston. So New York was definitely, it's still like the hub of everything.
Right.
I'm still able to be close to my family, which I really like, and still be far enough away.
Yeah, because in Philly, like that's a really quick trip, but then again, it's kind of like, okay, they're far enough away, but they're close enough away.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, like you'd be on a totally different coast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My mom also, when I was thinking about Nashville, she literally just told me this the other day. She was like, yeah, when you're thinking about Nashville, I was stressed. And I was really hoping you wouldn't go. I was like, oh my God, what would you have done if I had went? Like,
Yeah.
She was a mess. She was a mess. She's like, I mean, it would have been okay, but I would have been crying all the time. I'm like, Mom.
What's the reason that you ended up in New York?
The closeness, yeah.
Yeah.
And her, yeah.
Definitely.
So.
You've been in New York?
How long?
Yeah.
It has been officially 3 years as of October.
Yay!
Which is crazy. Yeah.
So, okay, so obviously Big Apple, there's a lot going on. Thankfully, you got a job before you moved there, because I know people who literally move across the country, they sell everything, and they're like, I'm just going to figure it out. But
same.
Amazing that you got a job, and then you're like, oh my God,
I was so lucky. I was so lucky. Like, literally, I applied to the job, and when I got accepted, it was like 2 weeks, and I was out. I was like, okay, like, let's figure this out. I can start immediately. So yeah, I was very lucky, and I had everything set up before I got here, and I could just kind of ease into it, which was nice. I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you enjoy most about living in New York City?
Man, all the people.
Yeah.
It's a melting pot. I love that. And B, I would say just the amount of things to do in the city. There's never nothing to do. It's never boring here. Things also stay open until forever. But it's really cool, and I've just like found like, you know, my like family here, like my music family. And that's what I love about it. It's just like being able to meet new people all the time, and knowing so many people in different areas of entertainment, which is really cool. So yeah, it's a really cool city to meet some really awesome people.
Yeah, you never know who you're gonna come across. Like, you could be on the subway, and then someone could be standing next to you on the subway. Like, it's the most random thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yes. But I love it.
So I want to talk to you about some of these songs that you released in the year 2021, because I cannot believe we're in December. Like, it's crazy.
Mind blown.
Yeah, like, we're going into a whole new year. So I want to kind of recap some of the songs that you released this year. You performed 2 of them earlier, but I just kind of want to like go down the list, break down like the inspiration and the songwriting behind that. Cool?
Okay. Yes.
Beautiful. Let's start with Streetlights, that was released in May.
Yes. So Streetlights, like I said earlier, was off of a real life event, and it was just basically how I was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And while the story isn't totally real, like in the song itself, I would say everything that I was saying was very real. And yeah, the song is very much, it's about a girl and a guy, you know, basically at the end of the road and ending the relationship.
Yeah.
And she's finally walking away from that. And she's like, I'm 2 street lights and 1 mile away. Like, I'm officially going. So that line I just really love, because it was just like the last straw kind of deal. And she's reminiscing on the whole relationship and everything, and realizing like, no, it's time. So that was definitely one, I'd say, like one area, or how best to describe it. Like one of the stages of a breakup, I'd say. Like one of those stages, the reflection period, and being like, okay, it's done. It's officially done. So yeah, that was Streetlights. And that, honestly, I loved how it turned out so much. My producers, JP, Al Von Stats, and John Muller, they were amazing. On all these songs, they produced all of them. And this was just like the pop song that I totally identify with, and honestly, that's probably going to be more of the area and genre that I go into with my songs moving forward, because I just loved how it came out. So I'm really happy with that one. But yeah, that one was a emotional one for me, as they all were, but it was good.
Yeah, and I think when like you're in a breakup, right, or you're about to break up, whether you're initiating it or whether it's being initiated to you, still like, do I want to leave? Am I staying? What's going on? Like, very like difficult time to process those emotions.
Exactly. And it's just about like saying like, okay, like it's really happening this time. Like I'm leaving. Like I don't know if you're aware, but it's happening.
Yeah,
So this is how far I am. Goodbye. So yeah, it was definitely definitely one of the phases, I would say. And the EP, honestly, because I'm going to put out an EP with all of the songs together, and the EP I would say is probably minus one song. I'd say it's like the phases of a crazy breakup.
Like the meeting, the going through it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's like that story, like Adele said, like
Exactly.
listen to it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you got to it in the order, because if you start at the breakup and then you go to the meeting point, like defeats the purpose.
Yeah, that's not it. Like, that's not it. That's not how that goes. I mean, I've been on a roller coaster like that, but like, let's not.
So,
but yeah.
In July, Trust Me.
Yes. So Trust Me was actually featuring Al, who also produced it as well, with JP and John. This song, gosh, I'm trying to think back when I wrote it. It was very much about, in the song, she's calling this guy out for lying, right? And so it was very much about that. It was, for me at the time, just calling this person out.
Yeah.
And again, deciding to, this is like the sassier version, I'd say, of Streetlights, deciding to, you know, kind of walk away from that. But this was the first song that was like a dialogue between the two.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just one-sided, which all the rest of them are, just from my point of view. Trust Me is two-sided and has both of our voices in there, and you're kind of hearing from his side and my side. And the entire thing, you know, they're asking, why don't you trust me? Why don't you trust me? And then she's like, well, why could I trust you? Why would I trust you? So it's very much about like seeing the person's actions and, you know, keeping your guard up and realizing why you have your guard up. But yeah, and Trust Me was, again, another phase of that, I would say. Post breakup, obviously. But it was definitely another phase, I would say.
Yeah. Because you need to have the trust in the relationship, because like maybe that person doesn't trust you or you don't trust them and something happens. Like, yeah, that navigating the whole like, do I trust you or are we done?
And it's like, why are we even in this? There's no point in this. We're not doing this anymore. So that was very much that song. It was like, yeah, no, I don't trust you at all. Goodbye.
Yeah. So are these songs like from personal experiences? Yes,
they are. I will say distinctly, guys, you're getting the tea. Everybody in here. Also, thanks for joining, people. Thanks for listening to me talk. It was definitely all the songs I wrote after the aftermath of a crazy, like emotionally abusive relationship that I was in for 3 years. And that was a whirlwind, a crazy time. But I will say that some great songs came out of it, so it wasn't all for nothing. But yeah, real life experiences. While some like Streetlights, the storyline itself isn't totally accurate. Like all of the like, Trust Me, all these feelings were very much what I was feeling at the time. Yeah. And reflecting and looking back at it. That those were all that came out. So, and honestly, it's still like, I can say that relationship I still write about sometimes, but it's more of like a pinpoint of inspiration, I'd say, as opposed to writing specifically about that now. Because now I'm happy to say that I've been out of it for 3 years, and I've been happy and, you know, living my best life and not stressed anymore. And yeah, and it's been great. So I now just have this moment of time that I can pull from if I want to, as opposed to having to.
Definitely. Kudos to you for getting out of that relationship, because sometimes when you're in the thick of it and you're like, oh my God, like, should I continue to be in this? Or,
and that was very much how it was. Yeah. That was very much how it was.
Yeah, or are you crazy?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it me? Is it you? Yeah, he, let's just say he was a piece of work He was an interesting human with a lot of things going on.
And I'm like I said, I'm sorry that you went through that, but I think some of the best songs on the planet are when people go through difficult times, whether divorce or breakup or like, you know, whatever it might be. Like I think some of those songs that we go back to and we're like, oh my gosh, like Adele was going through that too.
Exactly. Now everybody's like, are we gonna get any more heartbreak songs? We don't know.
A happy place, so she might not be doing. She might be like a happy Adele now because she is someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, which happy for her. Am I gonna miss sad songs? Possibly, but it's fine. It's not about us.
Let's talk about the most recent single, Not Sorry, that came out last month.
Yes, so Not Sorry. Oh my gosh, this was, like I said earlier, the most unapologetic song I have ever written. Definitely from that experience, very much about, honestly, being totally honest, about revenge. It's just straight up, just, it's a revenge song. It's a revenge song, like 1000%. And also it's just a song about, you know, finally taking yourself back and owning a situation and saying to this person, like, you really thought that you were going to get away with this, but you didn't. It didn't work out for you. Not sorry about it. Like, so yeah. So the song, it was actually one of those songs that I didn't know that I wanted to put out there because at the time it was just a personal song for me, and it was how I wanted to feel at the time. So it was again, it was another phase. It was just like, this is how I want to be able to react to something like this. Like, I shouldn't, you know, I should be able to stand my ground and stand up for myself. And this song like definitely gave me, I'd say some like kick-assery vibes. So this was the part of me that was like, all right, you got this, like, go kick his ass, but I didn't do that. It's fine.
But girl power, because I think like there are all those feelings that you have in a relationship, right? Like, I'm sad, I'm angry, I want to punch you in the face. Like, I'm not sorry, I kind of just want to get revenge on you.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, the visuals for this, when you were promoting this song, you were standing against a car and it said "Not Sorry" in spray paint. So was that like a you thing, or like did you see that, like, or was that edited?
Oh no, my friend. So my friends are really great, and my friend Jose let me borrow his car, and we got some chalk, just liquid chalk, and JP actually, my producer, wrote on it. We just straight up wrote on it. Wash it off. It's totally fine. The car is fine, guys. Everybody, the car is fine. But yeah, we had some fun that day for that shoot. It was really cool.
I actually thought it was spray paint. And I'm like, oh my God, you have such a good friend that'll let you spray paint his car.
I know, no. No, this was washable chalk. It was coming off. We took it to the car wash literally right after. So no spray paint. Okay. But it ended up looking like it, so, which was really cool. I loved it for the visuals. It came out so well.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that whole, like you said, girl power, like empowerment, like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, like, mess with me, see what happens.
So you actually mentioned an EP. So do you have a release date for this?
I don't yet. Quite honestly, I'm still figuring out the rollout because I have 2 more songs to put out. So I'm quite honestly just deciding whether or not I want to release them separately or just put them on the EP. If you guys in the chat would like to give me some input, that would be fantastic. But yeah, no, so it will be coming top of next year for sure.
So is Fighter going to be on that EP as well?
Yes.
Yes, because you and I were talking about Fighter last time you were on my show, and I'm like, oh, I feel like this is coming.
Yep, it's happening. It's happening. I can 1000% say that.
So other than the EP, can you tell us what's next for you? Like collaborations, live shows, what's coming up in the new year for you?
So I'm hoping to definitely do some way more live shows this time around, the top of the year. I'm really back in New York now. I've been traveling here and there, so I'm trying to get it going again. But yeah, live shows, the EP, and I don't know. We'll see what else. We'll see what else.
Yes, yes. Well, sounds like you have a really big year ahead. And yeah, with the live shows coming back, because I've seen like shows coming back in New York City, but then like sometimes the venue's too small or like somebody in the band has COVID. So like I'm seeing shows, but then I see the cancellations as well.
Right, exactly. I know it's rough right now because of COVID. And that's the thing, especially with the new variant, we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't know if there's going to be another shutdown or something. Everything is up in the air still. But at least we have vaccines, so that's helpful. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of playing it by ear, and hopefully we can all start getting back to, yeah, seriously, hopefully we can all start getting back into venues and stuff, because I miss it. I miss it too. And right before the pandemic hit, which is so frustrating, but right before the pandemic hit, I had finally started performing in New York, and like I had 3 shows like within like 2 months, and I was like, for me, that was something, like that was me like finally getting out there and doing something. So, and then of course pandemic hit, and then that stopped everything. But like luckily, like you, like bringing me on for live streams and stuff, that's been fantastic. So yeah, I'm hoping to just do some more in-person stuff.
Yeah, no, I know, because like when this pandemic actually happened, because I was one of those people that I was at shows all the time. Like I was like, oh, I have 2 or 3 shows I'm going to go to this week all over New York City. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm stuck in my apartment. I don't know.
Literally.
I was like, oh my God, I'm going nuts, because like I meet my friend for brunch. So then that's when I launched this show, and I was like, and it's still something that I look forward to all the time. Like, oh, I'm going live with Nia. This is so much fun. You know what I mean? So like for me, I have to have something to look forward to, whatever it might be. And it's been this show, and thank you for continuing to be a part of it. And
oh my God, thank you for still doing it. Like, this is amazing. Your show is amazing. Like, seriously.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I said, it's so much fun. Like, I don't know how I've gotten through this pandemic if it wasn't for like researching artists and interviewing artists, and then just having that like face to face, because even though we're not in the same room,
we're still able to have a conversation and talk and get to know each other, and
and then like the storytelling and the music, because like artists are still creating, and they need to find a way to like put their story out there. So like I am having so much fun with this, and please come back when
oh my gosh, yes.
And anytime you want to come and talk music, like here is my platform for you to just come and do your thing.
Thank you so much. Seriously, this means so much. Thank you so much for having me on a second time. Like, I love this show so much. It's always so much fun talking to you.
Yes!
It was good. Of
course. So tell all the beautiful people right now watching where they can find you, where they can support you.
Yes. So if you guys are just going to want to follow me on Instagram, that would be fantastic. It's Nia Marie _official. And then on Facebook, it's Nia Marie official, all one word. And my music is on all streaming platforms everywhere. And you can find it also in the link in my bio as well. So go to my page.
And for the people watching, how can they support you as a musician?
Definitely follow me for sure. And stream the songs. Stream like crazy, please. I want to know what you guys think about them. I want to hear your thoughts. And yeah, just let me know when you listen to it.
Yeah. Comment on the songs, add them to your playlist, because like on Spotify Wrapped, did you get like the Spotify Wrapped artist?
Yes. Thing? Yeah, exactly. So like if you guys want to contribute to that, that would be fantastic. Just add those things to your playlist. Add all the songs to your playlist.
Yeah, add them to your playlist, follow, comment, tell people about it, because it's kind of like if you like an artist and you like songs, don't keep it a secret. Share it on your story.
Let everybody know, you guys. Everyone.
We all love good music, and we all need to share the music that we're listening to.
Yeah, definitely. And us artists need you guys. We love you guys. So
yes. Any final words from you, Nia?
I just really want to say thank you so much for having me again. This was so much fun. Every time, so much fun. And I will definitely be back for sure. And yeah, just everybody, let me know what you guys think of my songs, please. And follow me. And yeah, that's about it.
Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Nia Marie. Follow her on Spotify. Go to the website. Share the music. The EP is coming shortly, which is probably sometime in the new year, which probably going to be the next 3 months, probably, right?
Yep, exactly.
Beautiful. Like I said, follow Nia Marie. Follow me, Ashley Live.
Yes, follow Ashley.
Ashley Live. And like I said, follow me, follow Nia. Happy holidays, guys. Stay safe. Wear your mask. And
please.
Yes, please. We want to get out of this. Like,
yeah, we really do. We really do. We're over it.
Tired of being in the house.
Yeah. Go get your vaccines.
Vaccine, get your booster, and be a good person.
Yes. Live your best lives.
Live
while
it.
being great people.
Yeah, thanks so much for spending your weekend with me. Happy holidays. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.
Perfect. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.